here we are in the bathroom once again. Oof. I was gone for 2 weeks, or I just didn't have a chance to work on this for 2 weeks. I was traveling a little bit, and now it's Sunday, and my goal for today, yesterday I cut all of the trim pieces that are gonna go on top of the beadboard. Cut all of those pieces, and today I just wanna get them nailed into the wall, and then I wanna patch all the little holes or cover the little nails so that this room could be ready to paint whenever I decide on a color. You can see I've swatched mauve here, but that hasn't led me to any sort of certainty. One thing I learned about using my saws to try and miter cut these is that, wow, I really just needed a miter saw. What I had was all sorts of saws that were not a miter saw that really did not provide me with the best results. All of these, everywhere that my little trim pieces meet, I'm gonna have to fill with wood filler. Great. Oh, look at the underside of this. LOL. Clearly not, this is my best cut over here. A circular saw, the oscillating saw, and the jigsaw, none were really the ticket for cutting trim. I just needed a miter saw, but I didn't have a miter saw, so we made do. I wish I knew what the what other people's projects looked like. I wish I had a better sense of how good people's miter joins look before they go through with filler or whatever. How far off am I from being good at this? I don't know. And I've had this whole ordeal getting a nail gun because I am afraid of splitting the trim. It's thin enough and deep enough that I feel like if I use a regular hammer and nail, I might end up splitting it. Also, these trim pieces, I wanted a bull nose trim look, and I ended up gluing 2 pieces of trim together, a half round and kind of a cube piece. And so if I nail through those not well, I feel like I could also bust through the fact that I've glued these 2 pieces together. All in all, I decided a nail gun was necessary. Took all of these silly steps to get one, ordered one off of eBay. It ended up not working really well. And then today felt such burning urgency to get the trim in here that I went and just bought one at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, one of those stores. I go to them, they're interchangeable. They sell me what I need. This is actually one of my pieces of trim that I've glued together, and I glued it yesterday and I've clamped it overnight to fully fasten them. I only needed half of this length, so I didn't bother gluing and clamping the whole thing, but you can see I've got a half round that I've sandwiched to this little just square rectangle bit to get the full size that I liked. I didn't just use the half round because it left a weird gap. It wasn't sitting flush against the beadboard, and that looked a little weird. So I ended up creating the bull nose, but I will just use the simple half round to finish the bottom here to set against the trim that is existing. So I just need to nail that all in. Let's hope that the nail gun that I got from the hardware store is gonna do its job. Okay, so I just want to test this to make sure that it's actually gonna work before I just go whole hog on my trim. I've done a couple of test nails and I think it's working fine. I've had to adjust the depth a little bit, but I think I'm getting it. All right, I think we're good. I think this is gonna work. I'm gonna liquid nails my trim pieces and then also give them an actual nail because the wall is not completely flat, and so there are some areas where I feel like it's gonna need extra help to fully sit flush to the wall. Okay, here's the plan. Good luck to me. I'm going to liquid nails my trim pieces. This is just the half round. This goes at the bottom. And then I'm gonna put a nail actually through, I'm just gonna look at wherever I put my nails in my beadboard because I put those nails into studs. And then up top, I have my bull nose shape that I've concocted with 2 pieces of trim. Same deal. Oh my God, this, I have such a gap up here between these 2 pieces of trim that I hope I can figure out that I can sculpt with filler to fix. She's not a trim tradesperson. Maybe I shouldn't start in such a visible place, but I'm going to. I should start somewhere where you're not really gonna see this so that I get the hang of things. But I don't want to. I just wanna do it. Okay. Remember how to use this. Figure this out. Ugh. Am I doing something wrong? I can't really remember. I don't think so. I think you literally just cut it off and then you put it in there. Why is this? I must have done something wrong. What's happening? I didn't pierce this. That's why. Yes. Oh, balls, Delaney. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did something wrong. I gotta pierce the top of the tube. Schnikers. Get this out of here. Now it's probably gonna explode all over. Perfect. Want that for me. Yep, here it comes. Here it comes real quick like, ah! Oh my God. All right. Okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yep, God. Okay. That's all well and good. Oh, it's hard to be a bonehead not knowing what you're doing, huh? Okay. I just like, why does more come out all the time? I wish this was a little bit less like, even when you're not pressing on it, there's always a little bit coming out, you know? And then you end up with a pile and you're like, well, I don't want to waste all this, but also I'm not ready to use it at the moment. Okay. Little piece going on. And then get your nail gun. Annie, get your gun. I don't even know what that's from. I maybe shouldn't be making that reference. Okay, that's on there. Make sure the lock is unlocked. And nail it, baby. Oh yeah. Oh, balls. Fuck. Okay. Gonna have to figure out how to fix that. Love that for me. Oh, I wasn't quite centered on it. That was a good one. Wow, one of these is not a real stud. All right. Gotta get my pliers. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh God. Oh. Watch it like pull my entire beadboard wall off. Jesus Christ. Okay, try again. Don't screw up. Center it. Center it. All right. Did that actually put anything in there? Did any of these? Now I feel like they're misfiring. One of those got a nail in there. Okay, I need to go outside and make sure that... Ah! Oh, God! I just got liquid nails all in my pants. A tissue, that's not going to solve it. Fuck me. Boy, oh boy. Ah! Okay. First, get it off your sock. Okay, it's not really coming off my sock at all. I'm just gonna let it dry on my pants and then try and like peel it off once it's dry. Okay, test the nail gun. I did fire the nail gun into my test wood and it does seem like it's firing. So I'm just gonna trust that a nail went through these. But maybe a little too deep. God, it's hard to know. No, I think it did. All right, that's one piece down. So now that I've had this whole pile of glue wasted, what do you do with these? What do you do with this? How do you save this? I'm like, I hate waste, you know? And then you get it all over your fucking pants. I wish I would stop cussing because then every time I say a bad word, I have to edit it out, and that's annoying and time consuming. That's a nice little bead. A tiny little bead, a delicate bead. Oh, schnurz. Shit. I'm getting this on my rug. Shit. Shit! God, garbage. Oh, hated that one. Okay, one more try. No, okay. Damn. Nothing's easy, you know? They all hated the stud. This is where I'm really doubting myself in the extreme. I'm like, okay, not anyone can just do anything. As proven by my inability to nail this successfully into the wall. Why won't the brad nailer go through studs? Meanwhile, I'm getting glue everywhere. Maybe I need to be nailing down? Fuck me though, huh? Because now I have these nails sticking out, and that ain't pretty. There's fucking glue everywhere. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to cut this whole clip because I keep saying the F word. I'm frustrated. That's what's happening. I'm frustrated. Okay. What do I think is the solution here? Get rid, oh my God. I'm getting off some of the extra glue that is sticking out. And what am I gonna do about these nails? I wonder if I can hammer them. Round 2. I'm going to not nail them into the studs. See how we like them apples. And applying the glue to the wall seems easier than applying the glue to the wood. Duh. Like, can I really not use this entire like smudge of glue? Seems like I should be able to. I want to. It's like, maybe I don't need to be so concerned with waste. Like, these things of liquid nails are not expensive. Okay, they're not expensive. They're like $5. Just put your glue on and shut up. Ugh, F me, F me. Okay. God damn it. I put the glue up too high. Okay, my learning is that holding the gun sideways is what was causing the nail maybe to go up instead of through the stud. So I just need to hold the gun straight up. I've been getting frustrated. Oh. Okay, don't put your sample-ized samples on top of each other because I just tore the paint off of one of them. All right, let's try again. As my glue waste mountain continues to get larger. Good, 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 good. So the Trim-It is up. With mixed degrees of success. At every step of the way, I'm like, am I doing a good job or a bad job? And I guess the reality is probably I'm doing a mediocre job. Which, in the whole scheme of things, this project was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm testing my limits, what I am capable of and what I would need someone else to do. And basically, I've determined that I'm essentially a very shoddy contractor. And I'm like, okay, in that case, I would definitely want to hire someone who's better than me. But how do I find someone and guarantee that they are better at doing this than I am? Yet to be seen. But what I'm going to do is now patch the holes and fill in the gaps. This one, you can see there's a big boy gap here. I'm getting my little fingertip in there. So, because this wall itself is not it's not plumb, it's not straight, it's not flat, I don't know. It's not quite what it needs to be, so there's like stuff like that. And then of course, this is gonna be my piece de resistance, filling this in. I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I was also looking forward to nailing the trim in, and then that ended up being pretty freaking annoying. Between the glue everywhere, which is now like, of course, all over my fingers and stuff, because I can't like keep my hands clean. So yeah, I'm looking forward to filling holes, but will that end up annoying me to no end? Perhaps. But that's all I want to get done today. I want to fill these holes in so that I'm ready to make a decision about a paint color. The color we've chosen, the universal we, actually just me, is mauve. What I wanted to do from the outset, mauve. And I did try some other colors over here. I tried an olive and a pale sage. And then I was like, yeah, no. So I had to spend $12 on paint samples just to feel more confident in my choice of mauve. I did a little taping. I am not normally one to tape. I normally am a freewheeler. I don't do any sort of prep before I paint. I sometimes don't even put on painting clothes. I just trust myself, and with my fine handwork, I just let her rip. But for some reason in this room, I was like, taping feels like the right choice. And that's one of the many pleasures of not being a professional and working in your own home, is that you can just do what you want. And I try to really revel in that. I try to really savor it when I make a weird choice and I'm like, I actually don't need to explain or rationalize why I'm making this choice. It's just what I feel like I want to do. I feel like I would like to paint, so I'm going to paint, even though I haven't put up the shelf here. Something I need to do logically, probably I would put the shelf up first, but I don't want to. So I'm going to paint. And I feel like putting tape on this time around, so I'm gonna tape. Enjoy? What's the word I'm looking for to describe that? Autonomy? I don't know, I'm trying to enjoy it. It's like, I don't have to answer to anyone. I can just try it out and see how it goes. So we're gonna paint. Here's the quilt topper that I've been having hanging here because that's what I want the shower curtain to be. And then I've gotten, and hidden away in here, some hand towels that I really like from Hawkins, New York. We used the last of our wedding registry money that we had to spend on Zola credit, to buy these. And by we, I mean I bought them and didn't tell Alex, and he's not gonna be any wiser. He doesn't care. I do like that the mauve pulls up a few of the colors. There's a touch of pinks in this rug, like that. And I guess we're just going mauve with like green and blue accents. I have kind of a idea that I think could be good with the shower curtain because I'm going to have to finish the edges. I'm thinking I might finish the edges with like a ribbon trim that either is green or maybe ties into the mauve to bring that piece more into the scheme, because I feel I'm really trying to make the quilt topper and this rug work. And another shady, sloppy thing I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna be painting around my toilet. I took the toilet seat or the toilet tank off in order to install this beadboard, and it was kind of hokey pokey getting it back on. Meaning it was easy to get back on, but then we had like a slow leak for a little bit, and it was challenging to figure out what piece that leak was coming from. And we did figure it out. I just don't want to do it again. So I'm gonna paint around the toilet tank. And that's fine. Again, my prerogative. I also love that I'm always set out with the intentions to do a really nice, neat, tidy job and have it be like very just dialed in as the best I can do. And then as I'm taping, I'm like noticing all these spots on the floor where the person who last painted this house got color all over the tile. And I've never noticed. And I'm like, well, I guess that reassures me that I could have a few slip ups and no one's gonna know. I can paint around the toilet tank and no one's gonna know. That's fine. All right, so we're gonna do that today. I can't even believe that I'm still filming the process of this because I am so bored by it that I'm like, that doesn't make good content. Like, I should only be posting the things that I'm like excited about. And yet, because I've started filming this process, I'm going to keep filming this process. Will the footage rot on my computer, on my phone forever? Could happen. But we're gonna keep filming. And I get around to the purpose of like, I'm not showing you how to DIY. Like, I'm showing you how I am trying to do these things, but I'm not really teaching you anything. I don't know, maybe I am. It's fun to see someone get their project done. So let's do it. Okay, coat 1 is done. And I have some immediate reactions that I'll share with you, even though I know my immediate reactions are almost worthless, because anytime I do a large visual change, which I would consider a paint color to be, or it is for me, I need time to let it mellow and get used to it and then determine whether or not I find it successful or not. But my first reaction is, one, I don't want to go mauve all the way up. I was of two minds. I was like, I might do glossy mauve down below and flat of the same color up above so that you get like a little bit of like a visual texture difference. I think it's going to be too much for me to do that. I would say it's reading kind of putty-ish on camera, and it is slightly more pink in person. And then it really isn't reading as glossy as I wanted it to be. I went to get paint. Benjamin Moore was closed today, so I had to go to a hardware store that sells their paint, Black Hawk Hardware, and I want to do the full gloss, and then the paint guy was like, okay, just so you know, that's an oil hybrid. It'll take a lot longer to dry. And the moment he said oil hybrid, I was like, okay, I don't want that, because I don't know anything about oil paint besides that I just want latex. I want to work with something I know, which is latex. Oil paint, I feel like is just more high maintenance for some reason or another, but that's based on nothing. That's based on so little. So I see a little drip. So I was like, okay, just give me the semi-gloss, which in the store on their little sample looked good, but I'm not getting really like any gloss from this. Okay, I mean, no, that's just my shadow. Whatever, I've kind of committed, and this quart of paint, I can't just like change my mind and be like, okay, I'm gonna go get the oil hybrid gloss, because this quart of paint was like $45. And I don't remember Benjamin Moore being that expensive. Like, I feel like I got a gallon at Benjamin Moore the other day for maybe like 60 something. And I'm like, okay, so is a quart just like expensive, or am I getting upcharged at Black Hawk Hardware because it's like a Benjamin Moore outpost? All that to say, semi-gloss it is. I've got one coat up. I'm gonna call it a day. I need to make some pumpkin bread. I need to think about eating like a real meal. We're like pretty much out of groceries, and Alex has been eating peanut butter and jelly, and because I kind of refuse to eat that, I've just been eating spoonfuls of peanut butter. How is that better? It's not. Oh man, the project continues, huh? I think I like it, but we'll see in a few days. Oh my God, I almost just flashed you. Because I'm not gonna do mauve up top, I want to do just like a complementary white, and by complementary white I mean it might need to have some pinkish or cool undertones to work with the mauve or this white gray like tile floor we have. This is the color that I'm going to paint the kitchen, which is a 50% tint of our dining room color. The level of specificity you probably didn't need, but I think I just need a lighter color up top to balance the mauve. I think going full mauve in here would be tough. My general thinking about guest bathrooms is like, it feels like the kind of room you should be able to like take design risks in and have a lot of fun with. But the scale of this room is more than just a powder room. Like in my mind, a powder room, you can paint full bore whatever the heck you want, and it can kind of handle it because it's small, you're not in there very often. It just like heightens the dramatically small scale that a powder room normally is to go really intense with color or pattern, whatever. But this is definitely bigger than a powder room. It has high ceilings, which for whatever reason, I don't immediately feel like, oh yeah, I don't get excited about color drenching or like doing an intense color in a high ceilinged room. It just feels like wrong for the scale. It feels like too much. And it doesn't get a lot of natural light. We have this little whatever kind of light window over the shower, but it's shady in our backyard, so a little bit of light comes in, but not a lot. And it's also hard to find examples of beautiful bathrooms online that have no windows in them, because it's beautiful to have natural light in a space. But I think it's pretty common to have like a mid-sized windowless bathroom. And I would just like more examples of that. And the reason they don't take pictures of it is because then it looks like you have flesh wall, because this looks fleshy as hell. So anyways, that's why I'm not making big dramatic design choices in here, because I just think the room is a little larger than I would feel comfortable doing so in. I'm not that brave. And there's no natural light to help like bring levity, or I don't know, like I have this image in my head of a very dark olive bathroom that I found very inspiring. And some of the questioning I was doing about liking that image is like, do I like the olive in this space because the light comes in and reflects off of it and gives you better sense of the richness of tone of that color? And when you don't have natural light and you're just relying on, you know, whatever fixtures you have, just seems like it doesn't bring as much depth to the color. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully I'll get around to doing paint coat number 2, because part of this, you can tell, a little splotchy. And maybe I'll get more sheen on it when I get my second coat. Because this is the semi-gloss down here, and then this is whatever the sample comes in, which is probably a eggshell satin. So I guess you're getting a little bit of sheen. You're getting more sheen on the wood trim, and I don't know if that's the nature of this piece being wood and this being some sort of like primed MDF, or if it's just because this is a curve and so you're getting the chance for the light to like wrap around it. You're getting a little bit of a reflection here from the tile on the counter, which says, okay, yeah, there is sheen. And I wanted a gloss thinking that it might just reflect a little bit more light into the room. And I just in general like a very glossy, I like the look of a glossy paint, but we're not necessarily getting that yet. Again, need my second coat. Also, of course, I'm like showing you the one shot with this like very prominent nail. I should have used the nail gun, because the nail gun can drive a nail deeper much easier. Like here is somewhere I had a nail gun and then I filled the hole. This was when I was like, I can do this all by hand. So there are a few nail spots throughout here, but I don't know, it's just handmade. I'm not a professional carpenter. I'm learning, and I accept that. Okay, so the guest bath is actually in a surprisingly good place. We are now working on the fun, finishing touches. I am in the process of staining the mirror that I bought at a consignment store. I'm staining the wood frame to just make it a little bit darker. And I need to put the finishing trim on the shower curtain. And I also need to make holes in the shower curtain to attach it to the curtain rings. And I'm debating sewing buttonholes. I'm reading my sewing machine manual right now to see whether or not that's gonna be in my skill set. Because all I use my sewing machine for is to sew a straight line. I'm so good at sewing a straight line, and sewing a straight line can get you so far. You can do so many things by sewing a straight line. But buttonholes really seem like, so I'm gonna investigate that. We're gonna see if that's in the realm of possibility for me. Other options include using like a grommet, which you just like hammer in a grommet and like an eyelet. That would require me buying both grommets and the punches to the right size. Or someone on Instagram recommended buying like curtain tape that you would sew along the back of the shower curtain, and the curtain tape has like loops already in it, kind of like the stuff that comes on the back of IKEA curtains that have differently spaced, just like loops for you to hook onto a curtain ring or a pleat hook or whatever. Again, I would have to buy that. And I'm gonna see if I have the tools with me today to sew a buttonhole. We might find out very shortly that that's not an option and I do need to buy something. Okay, I have a weird swatch of fabric here that we're just like a scrap that we're just gonna see what happens. This is definitely the preferred way to use your sewing machine, crouched over like this. Select the step B. Start sewing and sew the length of the chalk line. Oh Oh yeah, baby. She's looking like a buttonhole, all right. All right, that's enough. Select stitch C. 1, 2. Okay, that's not right. Oh, okay. Clarifying. Got it. A and C are on the same place on the knob. Means nothing to you, means a lot to me. Oh no, we're jimmy jammed. We're jammed. Try again. Now, insert a pin at the end of the buttonhole to prevent the stitching from being cut, and then use a seam ripper to cut towards the pin and open the buttonhole. These just seem far too close to each other. Do not place your hands in the cutting path, otherwise, yeah, babe. Well, we have something that resembles a buttonhole here, and I'm supposed to just slit through the middle of it with a seam ripper? That seems like I'm gonna rip out all my stitches. That seems like I'm, ow! I literally see these instructions here. When opening the buttonhole with the seam ripper, do not place your hands in the cutting path. Otherwise, injuries may result if the seam ripper slips. And I'm like, yeah, no duh, I know how a seam ripper works. And then literally I stab my finger. Girl. All right, actually, check me out. That's a buttonhole. All right, I can do this for my shower curtain. I'm so pleased. It's not great. It's bad, I would say. It's not nice. It's not tidy. And the machine definitely gets like a little hung up on it when it's doing its back and forth stitches, but I'm happy with that. Okay, look. This is good. This is the first one that I screwed up on. This is the second one where at a certain point I was like tugging the fabric forward through the machine because I felt like it was getting jammed up. So you have some like loose stitches here. But for a shower curtain, I think this is going to be just fine. I accept. Good enough for me. All right, now to do 12. I have to make 12. All right. Okay, I had to get into something more comfortable for faffing around. The way I look. Okay, so here's the quilt topper that I'm going to use as my shower curtain. I am so happy with this. I bought it for like 90 bucks on Etsy, and it is actually like the exact size that I need for a shower curtain, which is great. I'm going to hem along the top edge and then sew my buttonholes, and then I have some green ribbon that I'm gonna use to trim the other 3 edges. I think I'm gonna leave the top without ribbon. Let's iron down our hem and then stitch it, hopefully without issue. I just don't know enough about my sewing machine, and sometimes she's a little finicky. Okay. Now I've ironed down so that there's like a clean edge on the back, and I'm just gonna rip through it. Well, you know, not rip, very gently and delicately and carefully stitch it down. I got this sewing machine from my friend Sophia. I think she got it when she was in high school, and I was saying to her, God, back in like probably 2020, I was like, I'd really like to have a sewing machine, but like, I don't really want to buy one. I don't know if I'm going to be into it. And she was like, oh, you know what? I have a sewing machine at home that I have never used. I'm happy to give it to you. Nice friend. And this is that sewing machine. So don't be asking me what kind of sewing machine I recommend, because I don't freaking know. I just use what I'm given. If I wanted to try sewing and my Sophia hadn't given me this sewing machine, I would just buy one off of Facebook Marketplace and just see how it goes. I think it's obvious that this is not a fancy sewing machine, but what do I know? My mom still uses the sewing machine that she had in high school, which was like from the 60s, which is, you know, amazing. I guess the point of this is that I feel like any sewing machine can sew you a straight line. You don't really need the bells and whistles to get basic things done, you know? Like in theory, you could sew your own napkins if you wanted to, or I sewed my own table runners for my wedding. Just sewing in a straight line. I've sewn some pillows for our living room. Straight lines will get you far. Okay, all right. Now we've got a clean edge here. That looks good. While the iron is hot, literally, I'm gonna iron. I got 1.5 inch ribbon, so I'm gonna fold the ribbon in half and use that to just like wrap these open edges. Okay, so this is the ribbon I got to trim the edges with, because I think it'll tie into the green in the bath towels that I bought and the green of the rug. So I'm just gonna finish it like that with a little 1/2 inch wrap around. Okay, easier said than done to iron this. This ribbon is polyester. I would have preferred cotton, but I ordered some online that was cotton grosgrain and it ended up not being the right color. So then I just popped into Michael's and they had something I liked and it's polyester. And I feel like cotton would iron a little bit easier. Also, I learned from a helpful follower on Instagram that it is not grosgrain. Despite that very prominent S in that word, it is grosgrain. What is that, French? Gros grand. Yeah, okay. I need to use the cotton setting on this because it's just not giving me enough here. Enough power. It is leaking all over the ribbon, so I love that. Ooh, it's stinky. I actually think it stinks because it's probably steaming this wool rug. And it smells kind of earthy. Oh my God, look at all the water that came out on this. I guess I could have bought probably like thick bias tape, but I feel like I'm gonna get more yardage for cheaper with ribbon, but you know, I'm just making that up. That's based on absolutely no facts, just me saying things, making assumptions. I will say that I've ordered ribbon before from a website called Ribbon Bazaar, and I really liked them because they have every color. And I showed this off on Instagram, but I ordered their swatch book of all their grosgrain colors because I was like, I'm gonna be buying ribbon in the future, and they've got every kind of color. I bought this when I was doing the ribbon trim in this room because I wanted to see it in real life, and instead of just ordering a sample of the colors I was considering, I was like, let's buy this $10 swatch book. And I think it turns out that these colors are kind of standard, like these color codes and color names, because I was finding other sources that were saying like 533 jungle green or 840 Sahara. So I think you could get this and then still find those ribbons elsewhere. But the swatch book is from Ribbon Bazaar, so would recommend. Also, let's hope that this is enough length. They only had 2 spools of this at Michael's, and they're only 3 yards each, which I think is actually the standard length of bias tape, so I should just shut up. Should stop stating assumptions as if they're fact. But the bonus of doing bias tape is that it would already be folded in half for me, and I wouldn't need to be ironing ribbon. Ugh, also, you know what? I don't know if I have green thread, and I don't really want to stitch through this with white thread. Oh, means I'm gonna need to go back to the store eventually, and I won't complete this task today because I don't really feel like going to the store again. All right, well, this is good though. This is ready to go. Yeah, I've got 2 red spools of thread. That's not going to set me up for success. I mean, I could, and it could be like contrast. No. Okay, so it turns out I have no colors of thread besides red and white, which is not what I want for stitching this onto the shower curtain. So we're just gonna do the buttonholes today. And of course, draw out projects as long as possible by having to go to the store for green thread soon. But even just doing the buttonholes will feel like an accomplishment. So I gotta measure out where I'm gonna do them. I need 12, and then we'll let her rip. The way that math is a part of every project I do, and yet it is always so tricky. Okay. The total length is 90, and I need 12 holes. This is the mirror all over again. This is me trying to hang the mirror. Well, not really. The mirror wasn't that much math. Because when I did 7.5, I felt like I was one short. Fuck. I already messed up. Okay, I was supposed to start my stitches at the bottom of the buttonhole, but instead I started them at the top. Yankee. Then try again. Rip these out. Bozoni. Okay, starting again. Push this back. Okay, that's good. So I started, okay, and now I'm just gonna go to the next one. I'm not gonna cut my thread. Okay, honestly, we're cranking now. I can't believe I thought a buttonhole was beyond my skill set, because it's not. It just isn't. What a modern marvel, this sewing machine. All right. All right, we have buttonholes, folks, and I am feeling so pleased with myself. That's a buttonhole, baby. That's a buttonhole. We got 12 of them. Got the right number. Got them to function. I'm not saying I'm a professional seamstress, but I am saying I'm empowered by learning. Yeah, baby. That's gonna hook right in. Okay, I've upgraded my sewing situation to the coffee table. We'll see if I like that any better. I had to go to 2 different Michaels in order to get enough of this green ribbon. So maybe I should have just bought it online, I don't know. But at least we will have the instant gratification of sewing this on today. And let's hope that the success of doing those buttonholes continues. Oh, okay, I had it set on buttonhole. Try again. Go ahead, try again. Not making buttonholes anymore. Kind of sound like I said we're not making buttholes anymore. I uninstalled one of the lights in here yesterday and then didn't install the replacement. Amazing. But I'm gonna hang up the shower curtain and let's take a look. I think I'm happy with that. Can't believe, once again, that the length was like totally right for the shower curtain we already had installed. I feel like because of the issue I had with the ribbon binding kind of like twisting a bit, that's why we're getting these ripply edges all the way down, but I think that's great. She looks good. Plus, let's not forget the biggest success of all. My frickin' buttonholes, man. That is so legit. That's the best thing I learned of this whole project, I think. Well, no, I'm lying. I learned how to use saws. Okay, so I gotta close all these little loops up top, back down. God, you really can tell about the rippling. But you know what? That's something just you and I are gonna know about. Okay, well that's just about as much as I can handle for a Tuesday evening. So, see you in a couple of days when I decide to finish some other bit or bob belonging to the bathroom.